Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Vienna Live with Simeon Morrow and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and microphone and/or go to the Facebook Live video feed, the link to which I'll now place in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by asking questions and making comments. To do so, please either write in the chat room, raise your hand, or turn on your microphone and say hi, and I will be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guests are Liana Mitsko, Director of the Lviv Municipal Art Center, Ukraine, Natalia Ivanova, Executive Director of the Pro Arts Gallery and Commons in Oakland, California, Kinder Album, a visual artist currently exhibiting at the Lviv Municipal Art Center, and Agnieszka Rivole, an entrepreneur. Welcome, Liana.
Hello.
Liana, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Liana Mitsko. I'm a director of Municipal Art Center, and during the last 20 years, I'm an art manager. I work with music, with visual art, with different actions and all things happening around. And I'm in love with people's connection in art, in some artistic movement. And I'm exactly from Lviv, so that's why I'm a part of this city, and I really love to do everything to make my city better and better because of art.
Fantastic. Natalia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. So my name is Natalia, and originally from Bulgaria, but been here in America for the past 20-something years. I'm a curator and a writer, and for the last 6 years, I've been at the helm of one of the oldest independent art institution in Oakland called Pro Arts Gallery and Commons. And I have worked with a lot of artists in a similar situation like Liana. My role in the arts is to support and to catalyze new ideas that artists come up with and produce activate those ideas in a way in which they become a catalyst for change and for community empowerment.
Wow. Oh, okay. Kinder Album, welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kinder Album. I'm an artist from Ukraine, and I'm working in different genres like paintings, drawing, installation, photography, and sculpture. Now I'm drawing my war album about war in Ukraine, and some drawings from this series are exhibited in Lviv Municipal Art Center.
Okay, and Kinder Album, can you tell us why is it that you are anonymous, so anonymous, in fact, that we can't see you?
My anonymity was born from 2012 year when I draw a lot of erotic paintings and drawings, and I didn't want that another people in my hometown, which is very Catholic, Greek Catholic and religious, known me as an artist in person, and now it is like very comfortable, this my unpublicity, and that's why I don't want yet to show my face.
Okay. Thank you very much for that explanation. Agnieszka, welcome.
Hi, hello. My name is Agnieszka Rivole. I come from Poland and I have been living in France in Lyon for last 20 years. Right now, I found the company name progressarium.com, and I'm a professional coach, and I work with women coming from abroad to France, and I help them to adapt themselves to the local situation and to find a job. And I'm here as a feminist and art consumer. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So, Liana, tell us about the Lviv Municipal Art Center. What exactly does it do? And what's your role? How did you become involved with it?
Okay, right now Lviv in Ukraine is a home front. We are really not in war. We had here several different attacks, but it's really not like this petty Mariupol or like Kiev and so on. We are really in safety place right now. I don't know how long it will be safety, but right now we are really like place of refugees. First of all, our city was less than 1 million first time before the war, and now we are exactly like 1.5 million. So that's why right now our city is full of refugees who didn't want to go away from Ukraine and who still don't want to do it. They decide to stay in Ukraine, to stay in Lviv, and to make something for economy, for their lives, for their families, and so on. So that's why our institution, Lviv Municipal Art Center, right now is one of those perfect places for understanding what is Ukrainian art at all, and what is Ukraine at all, Ukrainian people. We meet every day together in Lviv Art Center, speaking about art, speaking about culture, psychology, and different things about our life here in our position like a home front. So yeah, here you can see some photos from Lviv Art Center. And this is photos from our first period of life here when we decided to become a shelter. First 2 weeks when the war started, our art center, which was previously a place for exhibitions, for speaking, lectures, and so on, our place decided to be a shelter for refugees people. Firstly, we decided it will be only for people from art. But when we understood the masштаб of refugees people and the number of them, we understood that we must, we understood that this great crowd of people who don't know what to do next, where to go next. We made all our gallery space a place for taking rest, taking a sleep, and taking psychology help, and some food, for example, and so on, and some informational help, how these people can go away from Ukraine, where they can stay in Ukraine for the longest time in a safety place. So we made everything for these people, for keeping safe, for keeping health. And this is photo from this first period when we, with volunteers, started to be a great shelter. Also, next, our period was about giving refugee people who decided to stay in Ukraine, decided to stay in Lviv, to give them a working space. Because usually these refugee people live in not very cozy places. They live in great shelters, in gyms, for example. They live in flats, where in one flat can be, for example, 15 people, but they still want to work. They still want to work for our economy, for their good life, and so on. So we decided to give them a space for this work. So right now, between 3 our gallery rooms are like co-working. Our name of this co-working is Spівпраця, like cooperation. And people from Kharkiv, Mariupol, Kiev, they work here. And right now we made one room for exhibitions and one corridor as also exhibition place. And the name of this place is Ukrytya, shelter, because this is really our shelter right now. And still today is one of the last day of Kinder Albums exhibition in this shelter. So I think we'll speak about this exhibition next time. And also, we prefer to do some educational events, some discussions, some things for making friends with people from different regions from our country, because they all are in Lviv. We are like a heart of Ukraine right now, and we think that we will do something more and more, what we can do at all.
Wow. Okay, fantastic. Let's take a look now at the Pro Arts Gallery and Commons. This is their latest exhibition. This is in Oakland, California, a world away from Lviv. Wow. Okay. So Natalia, tell us a little bit about this exhibition and about the
This
Pro
exhibition.
Arts
Yeah.
Gallery and Commons.
So Pro Arts is, as I said in the beginning, is one of the oldest independent alternative art space here in the Bay Area. Started in '74, and it actually began as an artist collective, as an artist-centered space or movement in a way. For the past 6 years, Pro Arts has been changing under my leadership, but also in terms of responding to what are the needs of the community that we serve, but also the situation that we all, the ups and downs of life and the external situations that we respond to as an organization, as an institution. So in 2018, we became Pro Arts Gallery and Commons, working with the idea of cooperation and mutual aid, and kind of like the commons as a way of coming together to explore difficult questions. Where is art made these days? what are the new sites of production and distribution in the arts? How do we present art, and what is the institution's role in a way of being a catalyst for new ideas, for permanence in those ideas, for support of individual artists, and art as an umbrella for a lot of political and protest and actions that are always happening in our environment. So so what I wanted to say is that similarly to Lviv, not so similarly because we didn't have a war, but in May, when we had the killing of George Floyd here in America and the civil unrest that came with that killing, what the protest that happened was very sort of like violent and big here in Oakland, and pro-art, similarly to these other institutions, who we are becoming an active part of this catalyst for social and political change. Also was a safe space, or kind of like a shelter for protesters, but also we had street medics who communized around that time. And we sort of like broke the function of what we expanded or broadened the function of the art, and worked with the idea of first responders in times of crisis. And again, who do we hold the space for? What is what is the space, if not for art to not only emerge and have a saying and have a voice, but also to support those most vulnerable communities and those most marginalized communities, both through art and performance, but also through very, very relational aesthetics, right? Through how we connect. Our biggest mission here in Oakland has been together to reframe the value of art and art labor in the context of a sharing economy. So we've been working again with the idea of comradeship, of commoning, and of coming together to change the world, basically, and come up with solutions and sustainable structures and new models for us to organize as artists, as arts administrators, as leaders, as cultural workers, and again, have a voice in that whole mess.
Wow. Wow. So incredibly similar to an art gallery in Ukraine, in Lviv. Wow. Fantastic. So Kinderalbum, tell us a little bit about your beginnings as a fine artist. Like I said, in 2012, you were doing incredibly kind of erotic paintings or paintings with an erotic undertone. Tell us a little bit about your beginnings in art and how you developed to where you are now. And we'll take a look at your war exhibition in a second.
Okay. My pseudo, actually, Kinderalbum, is about my way to express these erotic drawings that time that I made them like from they could be drawn by children or kids in this teen period of life. And my first exhibition also in Lviv, Gallery Dziga, was like a school class with a lot of these chalkboards in which were hanging my drawings about different erotic experience. But then there was a big installation in Pinchuk Art Center, and it was also about erotic, but it was happening where visitors of Pinchuk Art Center had to photo themselves to express their erotic understanding of the erotic by them. And there was a big happening with a lot of pictures, photographs of different visitors, and I have the website where all these photos are stored now, till now. And then And then I began to make paintings, also oil paintings and ceramics and different other medias.
So tell us why erotic? Why is it that you kind of decided that was going to be your artistic angle?
Because we have this huge archetype in our mind about Eros and Thanatos, and Eros is like key to understand human beginning, yes, of our instincts, and what not manage, what manages our instincts,
Okay.
leads, what leads.
Okay, so kind of a
erotic, yes, it is one of things that leads of in human intentions, different, and so I choose this way to express my my feelings about me and about people around, and maybe that was the topic that interested me that time.
Okay, fantastic. So we're looking now at the War album. Maybe you can kind of
Yes, and
guide
now
us.
when the war started, I began to draw this diary, and first of all, it helps me to fight my own anxiety, and because drawing is some routine that I used to do, and I just react on all these news that I heard about the most vulnerable cities in Ukraine, like Mariupol, Bucha, these awful news. And also this, for example, drawing is about our animals in the zoos and different shelters that also were dead or need to evacuate, and it called like, I want to save all the animals of Ukraine, because if I could, I would help them all. And now I'm selling NFTs, for example, and try to help these shelters with money to evacuate the animals from
Wow.
Nikolaev. Yes, and besides, today is the very good news. I was invited with this series to be part of Venice Biennale, and they open Ukraine pavilion with these drawings, with this series.
Okay. And tell us, can your album about again, now the naked figures here, the bare human figures? What's
Now, yes, now I'm drawing naked people because I want to show their vulnerability and their like not beginning, like that they're human being, yes, without any clothes on them, like they born in, for example, this drawing is called Titans, like in myths. Titans are holding the sky, that in Greek myths also people were naked to show that they are sex, they are human beings, they are nature. Like they are not people that we can call for their clothes and make some image from this appearance, but just people, just person itself.
Wow.
This is drawing about posivna. I don't know. Sowing. It is because Ukraine is the agriculture country, and we should do sowing even in war, and even through this all bombings. Our farmers doing sowing. This
Oh,
is
and this,
about
of course, yeah, terrible image.
raping. Yes, the raping our women.
And how come we don't see the?
It is like our also these paintings are important that because it is like another source of information for other people, other world, not the source of news that they can read by text, but the source of emotional
strength,
perception of all this war. In another language, they talk to people.
Sure.
The language of emotions. Yes, it is these first meetings, peace meetings, peace protests in Kherson, New Kakhovka, Novaya Kakhovka, when people, women just went out of houses and stopped this war cars with their own bodies, and about their courage. And this is been going about shelters. Yes, this is about these meetings.
Okay. Wow.
This is
powerful.
Shelter.
Powerful. So Liana,
Thank you.
Liana, tell us about this exhibition and your working with Kinder album. How did this come about?
Okay, so we had several pictures, several pieces in our exhibition. It was not so, I don't know, unexpressive that we could put every picture in our space, because it's not so big, first of all. And on the other hand, Kinder Album wanted to make several accents around this theme of war we are in. So she decided to take 4 pictures around, or three pictures around. So that's why we had.
But I changed.
Yeah.
Drawing
three,
during
but 4.
the exhibition.
Yeah.
So yes, we showed 4.
Yeah. So that's why I just tried to remember how much we got it. So first one was about death of children, because right now we have 186 children who died because of war, who were killed. And the first one picture, you saw it on the left right now, is about this tragedy, that this war is not about only some adult people. It's about children who really not decided what to do in their life, but they can be killed because of bomb, and it's really tragic right now. This is our posters of exhibitions. In every building in a city, you can see such a table, like ukrytya, shelter, and everyone take a marker or some pencil and trying to who is the owner of this shelter and who is that boy or girl who has a key from it. So we made the same posters. They are made by hand of every artist. And for example, this one is for Kinder album. We see it now. And the name of our gallery, Municipal Art Center, Municipal Art Center. And next to works were about rapes, raped women, and it was one of probably most expressive things in our gallery for all this month. Because when people saw it, they just couldn't to look at it. It's really one of the hardest things here. And this picture is not so, I don't know, hard, erotic, and so on. This is a picture of Vlada Ralko. Her exhibition was next to Kinder album, also in the last gallery room. This is one original work from Vlada Ralko. And in a projection, you can see one of hundreds works of her. She made them all in Lviv, and the name of this project was Lviv's album. And Vlada Ralko is artist from Kiev, and she came back here like to Lviv and then go to Berlin. And she made all these 100 pictures there. And also one of pictures we saw previous. Yeah, this is one of them. This is also Kinder album. There's a body of human, which has no cover around, and it's not like covered with clothes, but it's burned. And this is like one of symbol of our buildings around in Kyiv. In the eastern part of Ukraine, we have hundreds and hundreds buildings which are burned right now. And every of this picture of these pieces, they had a headline of news under, as you can see in a right corner. Yeah, you can see here a piece of paper with a newspaper headline.
Okay.
So here is this little exhibition, but it's not little because of its great view to people's opinion about this war.
Wow.
And also one of great things about Lviv, right now we have a hub for international community of journalists, and we have more than 500 journalists in Lviv right now because it's the safest place in Ukraine. So that's why I think that like every day 10, 15, 20 journalists comes to our center and they all see this exhibition and they can fix this exhibition and messages from artists and they go with them to Europe, to USA, for example. So that's why it's our idea is to prosper the idea of artists and to tell about this news about Ukraine to all the world.
Wow. Okay. So this brings us to our first roundtable, and I'd like to start with Agnieszka, please. What are your perspectives on Liana's and Natalia's visions of the Lviv Municipal Art Center and the Pro Arts Gallery and Commons? What is the role of an art center in society as opposed to a museum? Agnieszka?
So I think that Europe and probably the world, but I'm talking about what I live here in Lyon, in France. I think that Europe is really discovering Ukraine and the challenges that Ukraine has, and especially how to communicate, right, about Ukraine. And even the fact that I think the culture is really very powerful way to communicate. It's really very important, especially, for example, I discovered that you can correct me, but there is 23 minorities and the languages are really important because there are Ukrainian who speaks Russian, there are Russians who speaks Ukrainian, and there are so many different nations and minorities in Ukraine. And I think that the culture, that this picture that Kinder album you did are very powerful. And I think that it's really great that your work will go, you know, wild in Europe. And thanks for this coming with Liana Center. I think it's really important to show, as you said, the picture say more than the 1,000 of words. The words you can yeah, in different languages doesn't mean the same things, but the picture, it means something. And I think that's it's really powerful. And it's so important to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, if we don't see things, unfortunately in our civilization, if you don't talk about something, you don't exist, and you don't see something, then you don't exist. So it's really one of the most important things now in this situation is to continue to show the art. This is my position.
Okay.
How
And can the album tell us, you showed us these drawings that helped you deal with this trauma of this war. When Liana decided to make this exhibition, shelter exhibition with your works, what does that change? What is the role of that art center now that has your work in this art center? What's the role there? What is that doing?
First of all, it is my hometown, Lviv, and it is when you are important as an artist in your hometown, you become to be important elsewhere in other countries also. And for example, BBC channel made a report about this exhibition and show it to other audience, more larger audience. And the second, that now Lviv Municipal Center is place where a lot of people from Ukraine and from other countries, because now in Lviv there are a lot of embassies and people from UN nations and other big organization, international, visiting, and they also see these drawings. They see that Ukraine has artist voices, art, contemporary art, and it is very important to us to show the community, the international community, that our culture and our contemporary culture. I think so.
Okay. Natalia?
Well, I have the same thought. I believe that through art we can find commonality that is impossible through many other mediums. Even words can as Agnieszka was pointing out, can be divisive, but the image of a raped woman is the same image all over the world. And I think that through that kind of finding the commonality, art can be really a vehicle for real change, you know. And I believe that artists are on the forefront of every revolution. It's already revolutionary to be an artist. We all know that. But I do think that, you know, through spreading the word through art, rather than, you know, again, like the journalists tell a different story, the artists of the country and of the specific space can really get the message out in a different way through this exhibition. But I think also, bravo as well in terms of the gallery becoming the space that actually is the catalyst for this change, and for inviting artists to become the catalyst and supporting them become this change, along with being a space for refugees, along playing this idea that an art space is way more than just showing exhibition and hosting artists and hosting conversations. The art space can actually be, again, a catalyst for change. And I very much appreciate this talk, even because being in America, we're quite isolated from what is going on in the world a lot of the times, but mainly now with the war. I don't hear a lot. I do hear the media, I do hear the news, I do stay in touch. However, it's extremely heartwarming to me to see an exhibition and to talk to people in the arts today who actually, that's how I feel related and how I feel I can help in spreading this message. And that's how I would like to be able to participate in however I can from very far away, and continue spreading my message here to my comrades about what is going on there. So thank you so much for making this happen for all of us in the world.
Liana, what's your response? You saw
Yeah,
Natalia's.
my idea is that our center is not really a place of snobism as it can be or something like this. Our center is like a blood, like a heart of a city, one of hearts. We are municipal, so that's why we were made like with a credit of probably idea that we can be a part of the city, a part of art from the city. So that's why I keep in touch with local artists, which are really interesting for a city, not only about the traditional point of view, but also about the futurism, as it can be, exactly, or the reactionism. Because this reactionism, as for me, is one of the most important things of modern art at all. And during this war, as I told you about this changing, about this modification of space, I understood that we are really like this newspaper of modern city, as we can be. And we want to help everyone as we can do it exactly by our team, first of all, and also we can be this place for making art a new media of society, and we hope to be like this place also. And I can tell also about one of action we did previous week. We made action near a building of Russian embassy. We have it still like a table about this embassy in a city center. Here is still no team of this embassy, but here is this table, here is this building, and here are several guards around. And we made like an art center and such an action. We put together some, I don't know, washing machines, some things from everyday using that, as we know, Russian soldiers took away from a house of people they killed or people they raped. And we understood that European media stopped on a time of killing and of raping, and probably like 10% of them made in articles about marauders. Marauders is really a very strange thing for army, because army is a number of people who can fight, but why they did the same things as I don't know 100 years ago when they saw for the first time some treasures. And now when we understood that this army is not really army, this is like a piece of these marauders, we understand like in our center that we can communicate with different peoples, people which are like in a theme about the situation. We took some documents which was about the situation, like proof of them, and we made the same actions here in our from our art center. We made this action near Russian embassy, and that's why we told to all communities from all over the world to watch how we did it and ask them to do the same things. So in this week we had the same action in London, in Germany, in Estonia, and so on. So this is also one of things we could do as art center right now. And this is one of our media we could work with it. This is public actions, public media and appearance in the community.
Wow. Okay. So that brings us to our second roundtable. Today we have viewed Kinder Album's work as an artist living in a war zone. What is the role of art and its artist during a crisis? And what is the role of an art center, which I think Liana just mentioned a lot of. How about we start with Natalia, please?
I do think that the role of the artist is a revolutionary one. I do believe that, as well as cultural workers, curators, and people who work in the arts. I think that our role is very important and we should take it with responsibility, because we do carry a message, and we do represent visual culture. Visual culture again is one of the most important tools to affect change and to spread a message or to rally up masses. So again, I do think that art plays a revolutionary role in war, in chaos, we saw during the pandemic as well, in terms of connecting, in terms of relating to each other, in terms of working towards common goals. I believe that is the role that we all play, to find commonality through the arts and to find that better world through the arts.
Okay, how about let's go over to Liana. Is that it? Make a better world, like you said, a more just world.
Please tell once more, please.
Yeah, sure. So is that your idea? Also, like Natalia said, you're trying to make the world a better place, or what about
Yeah,
the artist?
exactly.
Mhm.
Because I can work with city and I see it, and I can work with artists. I can be in touch with them every time, and it's very good to move in one way. And exactly when we see this war, when we see that it's really crazy things around, they are made by our enemies, because Russians right now are really our enemies. They kill and rape our people, they murders, and so on. So yes, we can change this world by art, and I hope about it, and I see that we can be really cool about it.
Kinderalbum, what is the role of an artist in during a time of crisis?
You know, according to my philosophy dictionary that I have at home, culture is a transformative activity. And if it's said in the dictionary, so culture can transformate everything. And that's why artists can transformate this situation via their products, also visual products, as for example, me. I believe in it.
So you do affect change. You're saying artists do have agency. They are able to transform people.
Yes, I think so, that we transform the situation.
Wow. Agnieszka?
Because culture is this activity.
I think that's it's more than you just said. Of course, I agree with everything. I think also that the artist role today is really a messenger from the place and to carry the message of what was seen, of what was felt and lived in the place to the rest of the world, because the journalism is not enough, the photojournalism is not enough, the politicians is not enough, and we need this something that is really touching the heart to spread the news to the world. And this is, I think, the new new role of the artists, not only, you know, transporting something that is inside you outside and show this, make people feel something, but also to translate and also to give témoigner. I don't remember this English word. Witness, thank you. To the world.
Fantastic. Wow. So now yes, I'm sorry.
Well, may I tell you one thing more around? I just tried to find some art which was made by our enemies, by Russia, or by people who think that their point of view is okay and is correct, and I couldn't find it. It's so strange, really. Probably you can help me. I didn't find any maps, good posters, for example. I didn't find any good art about that. This Russian point of view is okay, and any artist I know about made some piece about it. So it's also, I think, interesting thing for communicate.
So in other words, that the Russian journalist or whomever can make propaganda, but it's impossible to make an honest statement because
Yeah,
they don't believe it. Okay, Agnieszka,
we could
please.
we could see we could see only propaganda from journalists, but we couldn't see propaganda from artists, and it's so strange.
Yes. I just want to say that this is about, I'm talking again from the position of someone who is living in the so-called safe country. This is about the place that the culture that is given to the foreigner art is given now in the public space in France. And of course, we used to see the exhibition of Russian artists before they had this place. Now they don't have this place granted. This place is granted for the Ukrainian art, and this is very various, of course, a spectrum of art. There are people from I would say the dance theater. They are for sure the photographers and the writers who are giving the speeches, they're giving the exhibitions, etc. So this is something that we see, right? And there is no, as you said, Russian, pure Russian art. The space is not maybe given also, or maybe they have nothing to say. This is the both side, right?
Wow. Okay.
Thanks.
So so we have to, unfortunately, because we're running out of time, finish up. So I'd like to start with Agnieszka again and ask, what are your plans? What do you think for the next months, next weeks and months? What's happening?
Well, good question. Since Sunday, we are hosting at home 2 young girls from Mykolaiv Oblast. They were traveling across the Europe for 4 days with only my address and my phone number in the pockets. And one of them is not adult. She's not 18 years yet. And I was like, it's really touching, you know, this is something that's it's not something that happens far away, but it's something that happens here, right? So yeah, my plans are really to accommodate them and to make them feel comfortable and safe for the next couple of months. And every day I will repeat the mantra of Sergei Zhadan. Maybe I pronounce it wrong, but he's every post on Facebook he is finishing, and tomorrow we will wake up closer to the victory by us. So I really my hopes and plans for the next weeks is really to support this idea that every day we will wake up closer to the victory of Ukraine in this conflict and in this war. And of course, I hope that, yeah, it will finish sooner than later.
Kinder album. What do you expect in the next few weeks and months?
Yes, I also cannot make any big plans, and I'm waiting for our soon victory. And I'm planning to stay in Ukraine, obviously, till summer. And then maybe I will go to one of those exhibitions or residences that I am invited now by different countries. And now I decide which invitation to get, and to maybe I will go somewhere, maybe not. I do not know yet. I want I want the victory of Ukraine till summer. And then I will decide.
Natalia, what do the next weeks and months look like to you?
I think that we all are in this position that it's the world has become one flexible thing. We don't know. We hope that I'm hoping that peace will come. I'm hoping that war will stop, and I'm mainly hoping that women will be will be finally the rules of the world, because if women were, this will not be happening. So I'm dreaming about this victory for a while now. However, in very real terms, I will continue finding ways of connecting with Ukraine and supporting the vision and the mission and the voices of these artists here in America as much as I can. So finding ways of producing in solidarity with war zones, with abused people of marginalized communities has been my mission for a while. So I hope to continue to connect with Liana and everybody in this conversation and see how this town of Oakland can support you all, or how I can, as a Bulgarian, support you further, or what we can do, because again, we're quite isolated. America is pretty far away. So I think that we can also we can only continue building these solidarity bonds, so we can continue working on ground here to spread the good word and support the artists from Ukraine.
Okay, Liana, you get the last word.
Thank you, and thanks, girls, for the solidarity voice. It's very pleasure for us. And I hope that we will see each other anywhere. I hope in peaceful Ukraine, it will be the best thing for us. And my ideas what to do in next weeks and months is to promote ideas of art center anywhere we can. And also to continue our works for new space. We have a little new space around near our center, and then there we will make a place for refugees for art therapy. And I hope that we will do it till summer. So after our victory in summer or in the end of the spring, we will continue our work, and we will have some, I don't know, art therapy for every one of us. It's probably the main thing. I hope it will be soon, and our victory will come here soon.
Okay, thank you so very much to Liana Mitsko. Thank you to Natalia Ivanova. Thank you very much to Kinder Album and Agnieszka Rivole.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
So
Bye-bye.
let's take a look at what's coming next week. We have Maria Krasinski, Art Hiding in Paris. Can the fine arts flourish outside of curated galleries and museums? Maria Krasinski, an artist and illustrator, says yes. Her forthcoming book is with author Laurie Zimmerman and portrays the hidden works of art that transform Paris into a permanent exposition en plein air, yet one which only admits the carefully attentive viewer. What makes their guide to Paris hidden art all the more noteworthy? Maria brings each artwork to exuberant life through the frame of her own perceptive illustrations. Oh, and did I mention that Maria is managing director of News Decoder, an innovative news service that publishes news by and for a global youth readership? As journalists are being attacked on all fronts by the many who consider them to be the enemies of the quote unquote the people, what is the state of journalism today, and ideally, what role should it play in the modern West? Come welcome Maria to our show. As always, all information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so much to Liana Mitsko, Natalia Ivanova, to Kinder Album, and Agnieszka Rivole. Thanks most of all to you, our participants, who make it all worthwhile. From Lviv, Ukraine, Lyon, France, New London, New Hampshire, and Oakland, California. Goodbye. See you next Wednesday.